All right. So here is me hitting a shaky table. This is my fourth try. I was messing it up before. So I need 2 pieces of string, or cord. This is 550 cord, also known as parachute cord. That gray one I made was a shoestring, actually, 2 shoelaces. But these are about 5-ish feet long each. You want them fairly even at the ends, and so you will make a loop. I usually do a loop about the size of my middle finger, or excuse me, index finger, whichever one that is. The second string you'll put across like that, and then making sure that it's fairly even, and then you just tie it like you would be tying like you're starting to tie your shoelaces, sort of thing. So it's just a simple crossover tie. Tie it snug. Don't worry about the size of the loop too much right now. You can adjust it, get it fairly snug rather, and then make the loop the size you want. Like I said, I usually do about like that. If I can get the angle right. I think the other one I made, the loop was a hair smaller. I should have made it a little larger, but I didn't. So once you're at this point, you're going to designate one of these strings to be your center string. I usually grab this one because it loops it in a little better. You'll have one that's kind of more separated from the rest of them than the others, which is this one. So I'll bring that down and across, and that'll be my center string, designated center string. Take one behind it, so you got this loop like that. You'll take up one of the other strings. I'm just grabbing this one at random, because why the heck not? You're gonna go around behind it like that. Hopefully you can see that fairly well, so that it comes through. Again, center, outside strings. I'm going to take this string, loop it out and over that, and then drop it. Don't drop it. Put it through this loop so that you end up with a configuration like this. I'll do this a few times so you can see what I'm doing. And then you'll have to pull them individually tight. Be patient. Just pull even. It's a little cumbersome at first. Once they're nice and snug, you can play with the snugness too, how tight they are. The tighter you are, the stiffer your keychain, or whatever you're going to use the item for. I usually make keychains with this. The stiffer it'll be, the looser the knot, the more pliable and soft it'll feel. So just do it however you like it. I usually make it snug just because it makes the knots easier to work with, because I'm lazy like that. So once you got that done, keeping in mind what's your center string, you'll have a configuration around the center string. Probably should have used something other than black, and the camera would pick it up a little better, but you'll have like a triangle pattern around the center string tied. How well it's picking that up. Camera seems to have a bit of a problem focusing, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's my center string. And then you're just going to repeat that over and over again. So you take that, loop it behind the center string, take your next string, take your next string around that one, and then your third string and around that one, and then through the loop. And you'll do that over and over again to your desired length. And I'll do a few of these so you can kind of see, you'll get a repeating pattern. And once you kind of got this down, you can switch directions for the loops, and it'll make a slightly different patterned series of knots. It'll give you a different look. But again, you got that kind of triangle pattern around the center string. And I'll do it again. You probably have to rewind and replay this a bunch of times to get it correct. Oops, bring that through here. Take your third string over this one, and then through the loop. I've learned to do a lot of stuff like this off of YouTube. Not this specific one, but a lot of them. It's a simple matter usually of just repeating the video a lot of times and figuring out the pattern. It takes a bit of patience. And once you get it, you get that dawning like, oh yeah, that's how I do it. And you're off and running. Pull that one tight. Now you'll start to see a repeating pattern. You can already see it there, how that looks. If that repeating pattern changes, it means you either grabbed the center string accidentally and looped it through like one of the outer three, or you reverse directions on your knot, which I'll do once in a while because I'll set this down to do something else, come back and forget which direction I'm going, and then have to untie a whole bunch of it and start over. So once you've done that a bunch of times, I'm not going to finish this one out, but just enough so you can see the repeating pattern. Like I said, you can reverse it and you'll start to get, it'll look a little cumbersome at first because of the transition there, but it'll even out and you'll get a nice pattern all the way down. And what I usually do, you'll need a lighter. I actually like a charcoal lighter, because a regular lighter, you flick it open and then it gets hot to hold on to after a while, and this you can, charcoal lighter just gives you a little more control, or longer to melt the ends. I'm not going to do that outside today because it's windy. So once you get that to your desired length, I usually make mine about, I don't know, 4-ish inches long, not including the loop. I cut the center off, so you'll cut it there. Scissors work better. I'm using a knife right now. So you get that cut, and I take the other three Pull it out enough so that you can kind of get your hand through there to make a wrist loop. And you have a kind of a three-string wrist loop. Make it more complicated than I need to, because, well, I'm good like that. What I like to do is straighten them out. They're kind of all even across. You loop it around loosely on your finger so you can get it back off. Pull it through. Again, keeping everything even, and then just slowly work it down so it tightens and you get a nice neat knot at the end. Make it nice and tight. So it'll look like that. And then I cut these off. I'm ending up with a lot of extra here just because I'm not finishing it out. I didn't make it as long as I should have. I made it rather short just for the explanation. I don't want to make a too terribly long video. Not that I can't edit it down, I suppose. And once you get these cut down, again, scissors are easier. You can cut it down a little closer. You'll burn these fluffy ends, although some people like the fluff at the end. I don't. But you can fluff it out like that. You end up with kind of a nice pattern sometimes, and it's soft. But I melt them down. Once they're melted down, I wet the end of my finger and then smooth out the melted part. Careful where you can burn yourself. And then that helps hold the knot in place too, because it kind of melts to the end, or the edge of the knot there. But that's it. That's all you do. It just takes a little bit of patience, because each of these knots take some time. You're not moving a long distance for every knot you build. You're just going that far every time, every knot. But that's it. That's all you do. There's a bunch of resources on YouTube you can look up. If you get into knot tying, you make all sorts of different knots. And I don't know, it's kind of fun. You can make bracelets and necklaces and heart pendants and all sorts of stuff. I've made my mom some stuff, and I made my dad a belt. I've made dog leashes a couple times. All sorts of crazy weird poo like that. But you can do all sorts of stuff. This is another one you can do. This is good for bracelets. You'll get this repeating pattern. It's over and under. And you're just kind of tying the beginning of a square knot around some other string. And people use these for bracelets. People who camp a lot, or if you're people in the military, because you end up with a lot of usable rope around your wrist. It's an easy spot to store it and take it with you anywhere you go. But you end up with that pattern. You see that a lot for sale around. It's a pretty easy one. That's it.